So today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating and honestly, a pretty bold new way of thinking about AI development. It's called citizen AI unions, and it's a model that completely flips the script on who gets to build AI and, maybe more importantly, why they're building it in the first place. Let's see how it all works. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, the entire project, the whole thing, is really built on trying to answer one massive question. Is our own consciousness, our awareness, our feelings, that inner voice, is that something that can just be coded and replicated, or is it something else entirely? You see, to really get what citizen AI unions is all about, you have to start with its core philosophy. It's a really radical shift away from this kind of machine-first worldview, and instead it puts our human experience right at the absolute center of all this technology. And the core idea here actually comes from Dr. Federico Faggin. And get this, he's the guy who invented the very first microprocessor. He argues that consciousness isn't something that just pops out of complex code. No. He says it's a fundamental, irreducible property of nature itself, just like gravity or space-time. You can't just build it. And this is the line in the sand he draws. An AI, he says, can totally mimic intelligent behavior. It can process information faster than any human ever could. But it doesn't feel anything. It's missing that inner world, that subjective experience that, makes us human. So what this means is that consciousness comes first. It's not just a side effect of a powerful computer. And super importantly, intelligence and consciousness are not the same thing. Those unique feelings we have, like the joy of hearing a song or the specific way you see the color red, that can't be computed. And all of this leads to the idea that our free will is real. It's rooted in our consciousness. And that right there directly shapes the whole goal, to build AI that serves human choices, not replaces them. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually turn a philosophy like that into something real? Well, Citizen AI Unions has a practical framework for this. It's called the triple pillar model, and it's how these ideas become a real-world structure. The first pillar is all about empowering individuals. It starts with a really important observation. A lot of people, especially folks with disabilities or who are neurodivergent, face these huge systemic barriers in the typical job market. So the solution is pretty brilliant. Let's give them the power to build and sell their own AI tools that solve their own unique problems. The second pillar takes that idea and scales it up to the entire community. We all know that a lot of rural and disadvantaged areas are constantly struggling with gaps in funding for really important services. This model tackles that head-on by sending a piece of the revenue from every single tool sold right back into a local anchor institution, like a community learning center. And here's how the money actually flows. It's a cooperative model, and it's totally transparent. The creator, the person who built the tool, gets the lion's share, as they should. But a chunk of it automatically goes to cover the co-op's operational costs, and another chunk goes straight to that local community center. It creates this amazing, self-sustaining ecosystem. Then there's the third pillar, and this is where we zoom out to the big picture, the major societal risks of AI. When development is super centralized, you get big risks, like job loss and these really scary alignment problems. The solution here is a governance model that is human in the loop by design. The AI can assist, it can suggest, but a human being always makes the final call. Now, this all sounds great in theory, right? But this isn't just some idea stuck in a white paper. Citizen AI Unions is actually putting this into action with a real-world 30-day pilot program. They're doing it. And the kind of tools we're talking about here aren't some abstract corporate projects. They are deeply personal solutions built by the very people who need them the most. Things like a task manager specifically designed for ADHD workflows, or a real-time transcription tool built by an entrepreneur who is deaf. And the economic impact here for the creators is absolutely real. The model projects that just one single successful tool could bring in somewhere between $500 and $1,000 a month for the person who made it. I mean, that's a real pathway to financial independence. And this pilot program is no joke. It's incredibly structured. They move from foundations and tech training in week 1 straight into rapid prototyping in week 2. By week 3, they're working on monetization, and in week 4, they launch. This is a serious, well-thought-out plan, and it's being tested right now at the Madawaska Learning Center in Canada. And they're not just hoping for the best. Success is clearly defined with hard numbers. They're aiming to get 10 to 15 participants, create at least 5 real AI tools, hit a target of $10,000 in initial revenue, and get the official co-op bylaws established, all inside that 30-day window. So let's zoom back out and really connect the dots. Why does a small pilot program in New Brunswick matter for the huge global future of artificial intelligence? Why should we care? Well, it matters because this model bakes safety and alignment right into its DNA. The human is always in control. Users have to give conscious consent for how their data is used. And because it's a cooperative, the values are shaped by a diverse community, not dictated from on high by some tech monopoly. At the end of the day, what you're building is a more resilient future. Instead of having just one or two massive centralized AI systems that could be a huge risk if they go off the rails, you have this distributed network of human-governed tools. There's no single point of failure. It all really comes back to this one powerful idea. In this model, technology isn't just about processing information faster. The whole point of the technology, its very purpose, is to serve and amplify human consciousness, our creativity, and our freedom. So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. The story we're always told is that a few giant corporations are going to build our AI future for us. But what if that's not the only way? What if the key to building safe, human-aligned AI isn't actually found in a corporate boardroom, but in a network of empowered local communities?